Good morning friends. Today I'm going to discuss on generalized measurement system. The main objective of this topic is to understand and explain the various stages in the measurement system. It is a general block diagram we can use for to explain how the measurement system flows to convert one form to the other form of the signals. Okay, to first understand what is measurement. Measurement is a numerical evaluations of the dimensions, or a measurement is an act of assigning a specific value to the physical variable. That physical variable is the measured value. A measurement system is a tool used for quantifying the measured value. Then what are the stages which are used in the generalized measurement system? So it is also called as the elements. It is also called as some of the block diagram, and the primary sensing stage, variable conversion stage, variable manipulation stage, and fourth one is that data transmission stage. After the fifth one is data processing stage. At the end it is data presentation stage. So now here that these are the several cascading of the blocks which consists of which concludes only one, that is the block diagram. So now today's I'm going to explain on these how the generalized vision system is applicable for the different practicals in the we learn in the practicals like load cell, pressure gauge, and the thermocouple. So load cell is that we are adding a physical quantity that can be converted to the electrical form. We can see on the digital indicator. Whereas in case of the pressure gauge also, we are inputting the value of the pressure and can be seen on the output of the gauges, pressure gauges there. And similarly that the thermocouple is used for identifying the temperature at the room temperature, and it's going to be converted in the digital form that can also be seen. So therefore for considering this, the generalized block diagram is shown in the figure. The first and foremost thing is that the physical quantity to be measured, that is input signal. The primary sensing device, the primary sensing element is the primary sensor element is subject to the measure the signals of physical quantity as input. Okay, in this stage we are using the sensors and the transducers. Sensors or the transducers are mainly used for convert from one form of energy into another form of the energy. So in this converts the signals into the suitable form, so either electrical or mechanical and other forms, so that it becomes easier for the other elements of the measurement system to either convert or manipulate it. The next or the second stage comes that the variable conversion element. Okay, so the second stage is that the variable conversion element. So here in this, that variable conversion element, see, if it is necessary only it can be used, otherwise it can be to be shifted to the next stage. So in the conversion stage, in this stage converts the output of the primary sensing element to more suitable form, so it is used only if necessary. Okay, next the signal sends to the variable manipulation element. So in this variable manipulation element, the main thing is that here if it is any noisy is present, any vibration, any disturbance is there, it can be removed off. It can be removed off because we are using a mechanical device. Mechanical device is comprised of like gears, levers, and the springs and the belts. So therefore sometimes what happens, there is noise is present, there is any disturbance is there, it can be removed off. So therefore, and the in the manipulation stage also, in this stage manipulates and amplifies the output of the variable conversion stage. Okay, and it also removes the noise if it is present in the signals, and it is sent to the next to the data transmission element. So in this data transmission element basically used for transmitting the data from one element to the other element. Okay, it plays a role of communication, the link between manipulation data to the processing element. So the data transmission system is used for cables, wireless, antenna, transducers, telemetry systems. So then it is transferred to the once the data is transmission and it sends to the next data processing element. Here in this stage, what happens, it is very important element because it's going to be convert whatever the analog form to the next stage digital form. Okay, the data processing stage is very important element used in the many measurement system. It processes the data signals received from the variable manipulation stage and produces a suitable form. This stage is also used to compare the measured value with the standard value to produce a required output. So now that it's end with the last stage called data presentation stage. What is data presentation stage? It is also called as the application stage. Okay, it is used to display the measured physical quantity in a human readable form to observer. It receives signals from the data processing element and displays that data is in a human readable form. Most commonly used data presentation elements in many of the measurement systems in the form of LED display. So that is what I told, it is application form in the LED form. So now this is what a general discussion of the generalized measurement system. Now if you take an example with how it can be made. So usually in the lab we have already done the experiments like load cell, pressure gauge and the thermocouples and the strain gauges. Here that whatever the input you are going to give, it is in the mechanical form. So that can be observed into the electrical form. How it can be possible? How it can be, the process can be, how the process will be happen in that system devices. Okay, now you take down as a very simplest example called a load cell. We have done an experiment on the load cell. Okay, because physical member called weighing machine, the load is added on the weighing pan. Okay, so this is what a sensing element. If you think that this is what a sensing element here, that here in the sensing element we are using the some sensors. I already explained sensors are nothing but the transducers which converts one form to the other form, electrical to mechanical, mechanical to electrical form. So here in this sensing we are using strain. The load cell is going to be converted into the strain. A strain is converted into the strain gauge. So in this form that it can only be read in the electrical form. Electrical forms are nothing but resistance, capacitance. So it should be converted into the strain into the electrical form. How it can be converted? Here we are using the two strain gauges. Here we are using the two sensors. One sensor is that we are going to use as a weight to the strain, and another sensor we are going to use the strain gauge to the electrical form, that is in the form of resistance by using the Wheatstone bridge. So then it is converted into the resistance is converted into the low level voltage that can be read in the form of electrical form. So that is why the sensors, the data will get manipulated and it is transmitted and it is processed. So the overall thing is that once you are adding something input that is in the form of physical format, it can be converted to the electrical format. So that is what the sensors are used here. So on the last, I can once again brief out that. First thing, it senses the element. Next comes to the variable conversion element if it is necessary. Next comes manipulation. It avoids, it removes the noisy and disturbance, and it sends to the amplified signals to the transmission element, where the transmission element is only be transmit to the processing element. Here in this processing element, actually it is going to be convert that a load cell, the strain into the electrical form, that is strain into the in the form of low level voltage, that will be done on the manipulation data. So next last is which amplifies and sends to the processing and sends to the last as the observer. So this is data presentation is nothing but the application form. So at the end an observer can read the readable form. Okay, this is what generalized measurement system. If you suppose asked in the exams, draw the neat sketch of generalized measurement system, then we need to draw the block diagram, explain each parameter, each element at least 4 to 5 points, and diagram should be very neat. Okay, thank you friends. Thank you.